Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you to Springbucks. My name is Brad, and this is an app that I wrote when I realized I needed a tool to manage pocket money for our kids. So, as a dad, I was struggling to keep up with the amount of money that the kids had and what they were doing with it, and so I ended up writing it all on a piece of paper because as a parent, I was actually acting as the bank. So I was keeping their money. Sometimes you'd give them their pocket money and then they would give it back to you and say, Dad, please can you hold on to this pocket money for us? And then I was having to remember and record how much money each of the children had. And so I ended up writing this tool, and I wrote it primarily for myself, but then I decided to make it available for others on the Play Store as well. So yeah, so the basic premise of the app is that you as the parent act as the bank, and the children can keep their money with you, but you keep track of it, and they can then make withdrawals and deposits and do lots of other functions similar to a typical bank or a typical online bank. So it's a good tool to teach kids about simple banking principles and other financial principles as well. However, let's get down to some of the features of the app. So, as I mentioned, you as the parent are acting as the bank, and what you see here, this would be the home screen that parents would typically see. You can see the total amount of money that each child has in their accounts that you are holding the money for. And as a parent, you can also add as many children as you want. Adding children is pretty straightforward, and the advantage of, well, the cool thing about this is that children then have actually a user login themselves. And so if they have a device and they have the app on their device, they can log in as themselves, and they will be able to see their accounts and their money at any time they want to. And so typically children will see a screen similar to this, which is the same screen that parents would see if they selected an individual child. And each child can have multiple accounts. In fact, children and adults can add and create as many accounts as they want, and they can remove accounts. It's all very straightforward to do. And selecting an individual account, you'll see that there's options to withdraw and to deposit money. Withdrawing and depositing money is very straightforward. You put in the amount of money, you put in the reason for the withdrawal or deposit, and that gets stored as a transaction. And then from there, you can have a look at the transaction history of all the transactions that have taken place since the account was created. So, as well as looking at that, you can edit the accounts, and there's a couple of things that you can edit within each account. And two of those things are the allowance split and the annual interest rate. So, interest rate or interest is an option that as a parent you can put onto each account if you want to. And this is cool as well because it enables children to learn about interest, to understand how compound interest works, and interest is paid into the accounts that have an interest rate on the first day of every month, and that's automatic. Um, so there's a few other things that parents can do as well. So managing allowance. So if you want to set up an automatic allowance payment in case you tend to forget, like I did, paying the kids their monthly allowance or whatever allowance you would like to set, this is a cool feature for that. And so you can set monthly, and you can choose the day of the month that you would like to pay the allowance. You can do weekly, you can do fortnightly, and select the day of the week that the allowance gets paid. And and then along with that, you can see that the allowance can be split between the accounts. So when the allowance gets paid in automatically, it will then automatically be split into the different accounts. And that teaches kids as well how to manage a budget and how to be putting money away into savings. And the children themselves, if they log in on their own device, can set those allowance splits themselves. If they don't have a device, then you can set it up for them on the parent device. So those are just some of the features. Other features include inter-account transfers. Parents can do inter-account transfers for the children, or the children can do it themselves if they have access to a device. Children also have the ability to do inter-family payments, so they can pay their brothers or sisters if they make a deal with them or something and they want to pay them, then they can pay them directly from their own device. Um, in terms of dealing with currencies, that's always a challenge for apps like this. I chose to just allow a currency prefix. In other words, you can enter up to 3 characters, uh, and that will then just be displayed ahead of the amount of money the children have. And so, if you do happen to change countries, or if you want to change the currency that the children are viewing it in, you can just change the prefix as required. And so it's a pretty straightforward way of managing multiple currencies for those families who are traveling abroad. So these are the basic features, and yeah, I hope that it's a useful tool for you. So thank you again for watching this video about Springbucks. It's now live on the Google Play Store. You can just search for Springbucks, and you can go and find it there. You can download it, and you can start using it. And I hope you enjoy Springbucks.